We'll be focusing on upper body strength in today's practice. So it will be a lot of forearm planks and push-ups and variations of those. I highly recommend using a block for this practice, but if you don't have a block, you can use a book, or if you don't have anything available, then you can do the practice without. You can even keep a towel or a yoga strap for some of the variations, but it's not like absolute necessary, but it will be helpful. We will also be sneaking in a little bit of leg work and core through the practice, and as always, take the practice at your pace, and every day matters. Be consistent with your practice. And having said that, I'll meet you on the mat. Please do consider subscribing to the channel and let me know in the comments your thoughts. Whenever you're ready, I'll meet you on the mat. We'll begin our practice in Tadasana. We'll go through a short sequence to warm up our body and also fire up our core. If you are using a block, have it close by. We will be using it in this sequence. Meet me on the mat with your feet hip distance apart. Engage your core, tuck your tailbone. Take a deep breath so you know that you are engaging your core, and bring your palms to your chest. I'll be jumping right into it, but if you feel like you need 2 or 3 rounds of sun salutations, or if you want to take it slow, you can add your heel lifts and other variations after a couple of repetitions. Bring the feet hip distance apart, core is engaged, tailbone is tucked. As you breathe in, float your heels, bring your arms alongside your ears. Engage your core, open your chest up towards the sky, cactus your arms. Open your arms out in a T, still keeping your back bend. Bring your palms to touch behind your head and fold forward, heels down. Your first forward fold, you might be still tight and it might not be all the way through. That's completely fine. Palm the mat, halfway lift. If your palms don't come down to the mat, you can have your palms over your shin. Open your sit bones up towards the sky. Stretch your hamstrings. Lift your heels. Bend at your knees and come into a toe squat. You're floating on your toes. Bring your palms to your chest. We'll go back up the same way. So bring your knees to your chest. You're all the way on the balls of your feet. Come all the way into your forward fold. If you can continue to keep your heels floating, try to do that. Slowly release your heels down onto the mat. Fold forward. Come all the way back up to standing, where you should feel the fire in your hamstrings, especially when you are coming back up. Let's do 2 or 3 more rounds of those. Sweep your arms all the way up, float your heels, cactus your arms, open your chest up towards the sky, open your arms out in a T, keeping your back bend, heels are floating. Bring your palms to touch behind your head, fold forward and heels down. Halfway lift, palms to the mat or on your shin. Float your heels back up. Bring your knees to your chest, bend at your knees and come into a toe squat. If you want to be extra fancy here, you can come into a pistol squat. So float your left leg out, point your toes, hold. Bring it back into your squat, float your right leg out. Bring that back. Bring your knees back to your chest. Keep your heels floating. Come back into your halfway lift. Bring your heels down, fold forward. Come all the way back up to standing. Hamstrings and calves. Let's go one more time. Heels up, float your arms, open your chest up towards the sky, cactusing your arms. Open your arms out in a T. Palms come to touch behind your head. fold forward, heels down. Halfway lift, palms on the mat or on your shin. Float your heels again. You're shifting your weight slightly towards your palms when you do this. Bend at your knees. Knees come to your chest. Come into your toe squat. Feeling extra fancy, add your pistol squat. Float your right leg out. Point your toes. Come back to squat. Float your, did I say? I think I swapped my left and right, but whichever leg you did, do the other one. Come back into your pistol squat. Balance. Bring your knees to your chest. Lift all the way back up, keeping your heels floating as though you're pressing a ball with your heels to the ground. Be purposeful when you bring your heels down onto the mat. Fold forward. Come all the way back up to stand. If you want to go one more round, you can add that in. I'll just continue. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, open your chest up towards the sky. Arms out in a T. Bring your palms to touch behind your head. And this time fold forward. Heels down onto the mat. Halfway lift. Bend at your knees, sit in a chair. Bring your arms alongside your ears and breathe. Engage your core, squeeze your glutes. Palms to chest, hook your left elbow on the outside of your right knee and take a twist in your chair. Bring your gaze down towards the mat. If you have a block, bring your block over your right knee and left elbow on top of the block. Come back into your twist and float your right leg, coming into a one-legged Tadasana with your block and a twist. Stabilize here, and once you feel you've got this, extend your right leg and bend it back 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can do this without a block. Bring your right foot back next to your left, and this time bring your gaze down onto the mat and float your left leg behind you. You're still holding the block on your right knee with your left elbow. Next breath, bring your knee to touch the block and extend back for 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Back into chair. Let go of your block. Fold forward. Come all the way back up to Tadasana. That should fire up your glutes. Let's do that on the other side. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, open your chest up towards the sky. Cactus your arms. Arms out in a T. Bring your arms to touch behind your head. Fold forward, heels down. Halfway lift, palms come to the mat or it can rest on your shin. Open your sit bones up towards the sky. Bend at your knees, come into chair, arms alongside your ears. Squeeze your glutes, engage your core. Palms to chest, hook your right elbow on the outside of your left knee, take a twist. Bring your gaze down towards the mat. This time, bring your block to rest on your left knee. Right elbow on top of the block, come back into your twist. Weight comes on your left leg. Slowly float your right knee. Come into Tadasana, twisted Tadasana, one-legged Tadasana. Keep your twist. It might be easier on one side compared to the other. That's completely okay. Now we'll extend and bend our left leg 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Back to chair or twisted chair. Float your right leg behind you. Balance. Tap your right knee to the block and extend back for 5 counts. 5. Whoa, my balance is off on this side. 4, 3, 2 and 1. Back to chair. Release your block. Fold forward. Come all the way back up to Tadasana. Take a breath. Move the block out of your way. You don't need it for this next sequence, and come to the top of the mat. Back to Tadasana. Engage your core, tuck your tailbone, sweep your arms all the way up, float your heels, open your chest up towards the sky, cactus your arms open up into a T, bring your palms to touch behind your head and fold forward. Halfway lift, palm the mat. You can either step or hop back into plank and flow through Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Lift your heels up, come into a downward facing dog. Turn your palms slightly inwards. We will take downward dog push-ups. You can step your feet slightly wider than hip distance if that helps. Bring the crown of your head to touch in between your hands. That's the goal. If it doesn't come all the way down, that's completely fine. And let's take 5 downward dog push-ups. 5. Push back through the heel of your hand or heel of your palm. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to downward dog. Shift your shoulders over your wrists, come into a full plank. Bring your feet slightly wider than hip distance. We'll take push-ups here. You can either come down onto your knees or stay up on your toes. 5, 4, 3, 2 and last one. Come back to plank and bring your right elbow down onto the mat. Bring your left elbow down onto the mat. Forearm plank. Walk your feet slightly towards your elbows. Come into a dolphin. Float your right leg up, pointing your right foot. Switch legs. Float your left leg up, pointing your left foot. Back to forearm plank and hold for 10 counts. Engage your core. Reach through your heels. Pull up on your kneecap. Bring your hips down onto the mat, coming into a swings. Bring your palms to the corners of the mat. Push up into a seal. You can have your feet wider or you can bring it narrow, whichever feels good in your body today. Come back into swings. Bring your chest down onto the mat. Extend your arms alongside your ears. We'll do a little bit of back work. Press through the tops of your feet into the mat. Pull up on the kneecaps. Extend your leg. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your chest up. Make a big snow angel, bringing your palms next to your thighs and bring it back next to your ears. You can do this with your feet down, or if you want to add an extra challenge, open your legs and close them, floating them up. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Hold, release back down onto the mat. Bring your elbows under your shoulders, back into swings. Engage your glutes, tuck your toes, lift back into a forearm plank. If you want more stability in your forearm plank, you can bring your palms together, hold your forearm plank. We'll take hip dips. Dip your hips, bring your right hip to touch the mat, come back to center, left hip to touch the mat, come back to center. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Neutral. Walk your feet towards your elbows, coming into dolphin. Bend your knees, bring your gaze towards your palms, and as you shoot forward, you'll be transitioning into a full plank and flow through chaturanga. Back to downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, hop or walk to the front of the mat, halfway lift, fold forward, come all the way up. Next, in breath, float your heels, sweep your arms all the way up, cactus your arms and open your chest up towards the sky. Open your arms out in a T. Bring your palms to touch behind your back and fold forward. Halfway lift, palm the mat, step or hop back and flow through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog, come all the way up into your downward dog. Bring your heels or feet slightly wider than hip distance and turn your palms slightly inwards. And 5 downward dog push-ups. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to neutral. Shift your weight, shoulders over your wrists. Come into plank. Bring your right forearm down, left forearm down. Come up on your right forearm, back on your left forearm, up, up, down, down, or commandos. And alternate your leading side. Let's go. Left, right, up and up, right, left, up and up, left, right, up and up, right. 3, 4, 5, 6. Come back to plank, back to your downward dog. Squeeze your elbows together and bring them down onto the mat. Transitioning into dolphin. Float your right leg. Hold. Switch sides. Float your left leg. Hold. Shift forward into forearm plank. Bring your right forearm parallel to the short edge of the mat and open up into a side plank and hold. Extra challenge to float your top leg. Switch sides. Left forearm parallel to the short edge. Stack your hips. Open up side plank. Extra challenge. float your top leg. Hold. Back to forearm plank. Bring your hips down. Come into swings. Bring the palms to the corners of the mat. Push your elbows off the mat. Baby seal. Back into swings. Bring your chest down. Engage your legs. Open your arms out in a T. Your thumbs are facing up. Option to keep pressing through the tops of your feet. Additional challenge to float your leg, lift your chest off, and pulse your hands. Your thumbs move up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it at an angle towards your thighs. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it out into a Y in front of you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your arms alongside your ears and hold. And cactus and release your arms for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Release all the way down onto the mat. Take a breath. We'll transition into a bowl. Bend at your knees. Grab hold of your feet from the inside of your ankles. Squeeze your elbows together. Open your chest. Kick your feet into your hands and lift up into a bowl. Release. Bring your palms next to your chest. Tuck your toes. Push all the way back up into plank and hold your plank. If you want to challenge yourself, take push-ups here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back, downward facing dog. Oh. Float your right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right knee to chest. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Bring your block in front of your right foot, few inches in front of your right foot. Plant your back foot. Make sure that your heel and your back arch are in line with each other. Come up into your warrior two. Bring your block in your right hand. Hold it like so. Warrior two arms. And next breath, extend both your legs. Pass your block over your head to your left hand. Come back, warrior two. Lift, pass, warrior two. Lift, pass, warrior two. Lift, pass, warrior two. Lift, pass, warrior two. You can add triceps as you pass. Lift, pass, hold your block, bring it behind your head, extend, warrior two. Lift, hold, tricep extension, warrior two. Lift, hold, tricep extension, warrior two. Lift, triceps, warrior two. Lift, triceps, warrior two, and hold. Bring your block on the inside of your right foot. Rest your right palm over it, open up into a side angle, extend your left palm up towards the sky, hold. Next breath, extend your right leg, triangle and bend back, side angle, triangle to side angle. See, working, sneaking in a little bit of hips, legs and everything. Back to side angle, and this time come up warrior 2 without a block. We'll shift our warrior 2 to the other leg. So you move your block, switch your legs. So your left foot is facing the short edge of the mat, right foot is perpendicular to your left foot. Block in your left arm to start with. Warrior 2, lift, pass the block, sneak in a tricep and warrior 2. Lift, tricep, warrior 2, pass the block, lift, tricep, warrior 2 plus, pass the block, lift, tricep, warrior 2, lift, tricep, warrior 2, lift, tricep, warrior 2, lift, tricep, warrior 2. Last one on each side, tricep, warrior 2, and this time bring your block on the inside of your left foot, extend your right hand up towards the sky, side angle, hold, extend your left leg and back into side angle, extend, back into side angle, extend, side angle, extend, hold, come back up into a goddess squat. If you are with me, oh my God, I am sweating, I am dripping down. We'll sneak in a little bit of calf work here. From your goddess squat, lift your left right heel, then your left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Now hold both heels up and 5. Squat down a little bit. 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release. Face the front of the mat and come into a seated position. I hope you could feel the fire. Now bring your block in your left or right hand, doesn't really matter. Extend both your hands out in a T. Whichever hand your block is in, that comes alongside your ears, and bring the block behind you. Bend your other palm outwards, so your palm is facing the back of you, and bend it down and try to grab the block from behind your back. So you are essentially coming into a Gomukhasana hand. I don't know how to cue this, I think, but I hope that made sense. I'll turn my back towards the camera, so hopefully you can see better. So this is where you start. Whichever hand your block is in, bring it up alongside your ears, bring the block behind you, turn your other palm away from you, bend it and grab the block from behind you. So you're coming into a Gomukhasana hand. Now you pass the block and the block comes out on the other hand. That hand comes up, pass the block. Release and pass, release and pass, release and pass, release and pass, release, pass the block, release, pass the block. You are working on your shoulder mobility here, and also on your arm strength, flexibility, everything. And I grab my hair. Release and leave your block onto the side, and bring your sit bones in between your feet, coming into a hero, and lean all the way back. Let's take a quad stretch. Come all the way up to seated. Release your feet. We'll do a little bit of core work. Bring your palms behind you. Your fingertips are facing towards the front. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll on to your left butt cheek. Keep your knees together. Keep your feet together. Extend your legs. Bend them back. Roll on to your right butt cheek. Extend and bend. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ow. Come to neutral. Transition into boat. You can keep your fingers wrapped around the back of your knee, or float your hands, float your legs and hold. You can add a crunch here if you don't want a static hold. That's optional too. So if you want to add a movement here, you can extend and crunch. Do how many ever you can. Hug your knees into your chest. Come all the way down onto the mat. We'll work on a back bend like always, or you can just take a hip like a bridge up and hold it there, or you can come into a full wheel. It's completely optional. If you are coming into a full wheel, like always, the weight is on your heels. Heels are hip distance or wider, and turn your feet out slightly and tuck your tailbone, engage your core, squeeze your glutes, lift up, bring your palms next to your ears, hold, and next exhale, push the mat down and lift up into your back bend. Release your back bend, and we'll release your back bend. We'll take a couple of supine twists, but make it core work. So bring your arms out in a T, stack your knees directly over your hips, stick your feet together, drop your knees on the outside of your left glute, shoulder blades down on the mat. Switch sides, outside of your right glute. Keep moving left and right. When you lift your legs and move it to the other side, the movement is coming from your core. Your shoulder blades are glued to the mat. You cannot move them. Imagine that you're stuck to the mat. The only thing that you can move are your legs from left to right. Come back to neutral. Hug your knees into your chest. Stack your hips directly over your shoulders. You can support your lower back with your palms. Coming into a shoulder stand. Open your hips, extend your legs, point your toes. Bend at your knees. Bring your knees to your forehead, extend your legs. Your toes come down behind your head. Keep opening your sit bones up towards the sky and press your heels away from you. So you're reaching towards whatever is behind you with your heels. Keep working those knees away from your face. Release and come into Shavasana. I hope you had fun doing that practice with me, and you keep coming back to this practice, and I'm sure you'll be able to do like a 40 push-up challenge or something like that. But more than anything, it just helps you build a lot of strength in your arms and in your upper back, and also corrects your posture. Let me know in the comments how you felt after this practice, and I'll see you on the mat very soon.